Bringing to you live, guys, not from the Tar Heel State, but I'm at the mall in Punta Cana, guys, at Punta Cana at the mall. And I want to talk about, guys, the 7 reasons why world travel can keep a man grounded. I want to talk about the 7 reasons, the top reasons world travel can keep a man grounded. I told you, men, once again, that there are 7 steps to male optimization. There are 7 steps to male optimization. And those 7 steps are family. Family is the most important structure to the psyche of a man if he decides to get married. Faith, female psychology, finances, male mental health, male physical health, and also politics. Once you understand the 7 steps to male optimization, then you will become optimized to make the best decisions for you. I'm enjoying the trip, guys. I found my jacket. I left it at the airport, but I was able to find my jacket. I had to get the kosher swag right. So, you know, I got my shades popping. Had to get that kosher swag right. Got my shades popping. I'm at the mall. I'm feeling good about that. Got my jacket. But if you work hard, guys, I'm a firm believer that if you work hard, you must play hard. And in getting those 7 steps, guys, you become optimized. One of the things that we have more or less been deluded about is concerning foreign people and also foreign lands. And one of the things about travel, you'll begin to see that human beings basically are the same wherever you go. Let me show you guys how beautiful this mall is. Y'all see this mall? This mall is very beautiful, guys. Very, very nice. And they got some of the same accoutrements in the West. But, you know, if you listen to most folks, you would think that Dominican Republic is a third world wasteland. And of course, there are some poor parts of the Dominican Republic. But this is a very nice mall, very upscale mall. And so travel keeps you grounded, guys. If you're a masculine man, you on your purpose, you handling your business as a man, traveling will keep you grounded. And one of the things we do as therapists, we believe in emotional regulation, but also learning how to ground yourself. And many times in the West, because men are not venerated at the level they should be venerated, a lot of men have a hard time being grounded. But here, I would say that the majority of the women, they speak, they're kind, you know, they're very respectful. And that's the difference here in the West. But that's the difference here in the Dominican Republic versus being in the West. There's a greater level of femininity, to say the least. The femininity is different here. And so if you're a traditional man that's done the work, you need to travel to stay grounded. Because see, one thing about the West will keep you in a state of delusion or an illusion. And the illusion is the assumption that men are not respected abroad. But see, when you got yourself together as a man, you've done the work. I've said not one time, but several times. If you're going to travel and you're serious about this, so you're going to either travel to find a wife or to have to find a companion, or you're traveling just to travel, you need to book a consultation with me. I am a licensed clinical therapist. I'm not giving you guys fluff. I'm not giving you my personal opinion. Any and all things that I give you is coming from a clinical perspective, but also it's coming from a traditional masculine perspective as well. And sadly, many times in the confines of America, we don't get a perspective concerning male empowerment from a male perspective. I'm extremely rare, and I'm rare meaning there are not a lot of clinical male therapists that happen to be masculine. And so once you begin to travel, traveling will ground you. It will help regulate your emotions as a man. But in the West, because of so much stress and because of so much toxic behavior and because of the lack of respect, you don't have the proper emotional regulation that you need. And so when you get to travel sometime, it will ground you. We live in a world, once again, where men work hard. They got to work extra hard just to get love and affection. Sadly, sometimes from average women. And shout out to the good sisters that are trying to do the work, or the good women that are doing the work, American women that are doing the work. But unfortunately, it's not enough. And so when you begin to travel, you begin to see the world from a different perspective. It helps you realize that you don't have to minimize what your worth is as a man. It helps you realize that you are respected in other parts of the world. And as I told you guys before, women are women wherever you go. Excuse me, amiga. Excuse me. Where's elevator? Elevator? Second floor. Where's your elevator? You know, no comprendo? Unos, dos. There's no up, only one floor. Thank you, amiga. See, all right. But did y'all see that interaction, guys? You see how feminine she was? You know, she didn't have a duck face. You know that she wasn't. She didn't have an attitude. And that's the difference with world travel, guys. There's a heightened sense of respect for masculinity, but also there's a heightened sense of respect for femininity. And so enjoy this content, guys, while you can, because at some point, I've said it several times, I know you don't believe me, I'm going to be doing different content in a different direction. I put a lot of work in doing content, but my workload is getting heavier and heavier as a therapist. And while I like empowering men, I got to make sure it's worth my time to put in the kind of work I do, and also make sure it's worth the risk. Speaking out and advocating for men in America is risky, because anything you say and do is internalized as being misogynistic. And so when you speak on the behalf of a man, when you got traditional women that speak on the behalf of a masculine man, they call that toxic femininity. So toxic femininity actually means a woman is loving her husband, loving her boyfriend, and taking care of her family. That's toxic femininity. So once again, world travel will ground your senses as a man. It will help calibrate you. It'll help you see the world from a different perspective instead of seeing the world through the lens of dysfunction. And we know that in America, sadly, in many parts of the world, in the American fabric, there's a lot of dysfunction, because dysfunction is the new norm. Up is down, down is up. And anything that men deem to be important for them is seen as oppressive. Yet, when you look at what's going on in America, American women have more rights probably than any woman in the world. But the thing they complain about are minuscule compared to other women around the world. And other women around the world treat their men a whole lot better, because men around the world don't tolerate the disrespect that we tolerate as a man. So it's important to get grounded as a man, gentlemen, and world travel will do that. One of the illusions of living in the West is that you don't deserve a decent woman. That's an illusion number one. I don't deserve a decent woman. I need to work extra hard to prove my worth to her, instead of her working hard to prove her worth to me. And while men and women both play a role in curating healthy relationships, if a woman wants a husband, it's important that she does the work to prove herself worthy for that man. And by doing that, like some women say, well, I'm not going to do X, Y, Z because that's wife duty. Well, a wise woman understands that she's auditioning for the role of a wife, even though that man haven't decided to marry her. And so if a woman says, well, I'm not doing that because that's wife duty, well, then a man can equally say, I'm not paying for dates because that's husband duty. I'm not opening the door because that's husband duty. I'm not going to pay for these dates. That's husband's duty. If somebody try to attack you, I'm not going to protect you because that's husband duty. Everybody got to play their role in relationships. But many times men, their emotions are dysregulated instead of being regulated, because American men are not grounded. And a lot of American men, black men are not grounded because, one, part of it is that they see things through the lens of the mothers that raised them. In the clinical world, guys, we call that introjection. And also they struggle with masculine men because masculine men are or is a reflection that they are not. So a lot of times men that are raised by their mothers, they struggle with masculine men. because masculine men are a reflection of what they're not. So guys, look at this picture in this situation right now. You got an average dude with a beautiful chicken. Average dude. In America, you got to damn near probably blow the bank up to get some average like her, and she's a fairly attractive woman. So how people rate you guys, how American women rate you is not the same as how women in other countries rate you. They don't rate you the same. Average men get with attractive women, or average men get with slightly above average women, because I call it beauty density. And so you need to travel, gentlemen, if you want to be grounded. You need to travel so you can become grounded, and so you can see the world for what it is, so you can see that there's a better part of the world that can help you and help benefit you, but also let you know that you have worth and value. I'm convinced that a lot of black men in America have low self-esteem. They have low self-esteem because they hate consciously or unconsciously on other black men. They project their anger based on the stories that their mothers told them. That's a dysfunction. And so I decided to take this trip. Guys, to get more information, I said on yesterday, into my toolbox, and to help couples form a more perfect union. But the problem is, many programs and many interventions now tend to have a more liberal worldview, and it does not embrace traditional heteronormative masculinity. Many times it will diminish it or make it or minimize it. The indoctrination is so strong. You see it in the movies. Like what's that superhero movie called, The Incredibles? You see it in TV with the Flintstones. You see it in many forms where men are seen as dumb and stupid, and the women are venerated as being smart. And that's a problem, guys. And so in these countries, they don't emasculate men like men are emasculated in America. And so you need to travel so that you can become grounded. Once you understand the 7 steps of male optimization, you become kosher. That means you are complete. You are no longer under the illusion that you have a good deal. But sadly, while a lot of brothers are waking up, and they're beginning to see what their worth is, there's still a lot of men that operate under the auspices of being weak men and simps. And so, once again, masculine men don't hate on other men. While men are competitive by nature, and while every man want to be successful, a competitive, healthy male will not try to sabotage another man to push his own agenda. But all men sometimes can be, a healthy envy of another man if he's doing well, but not to the point that he's trying to sabotage that man. Listen, I don't feel there's a man on this planet that's better than me. I don't give a damn how much money he make. There ain't a man on this planet better than me. That's how I feel. And you should feel the same way if you've done the work. Now, if you ain't done the work, then you can't talk that way. But ever since I've been young, I've always said that if they can do it, I can do it. Now, we understand that there are limitations to talents. Everybody got a talent, and most people, and some people have gifts. Everybody's talent's not the same. I can't sit up and say, well, I'm an astronaut, because that's not my talent. I don't understand calculus and all that. But once you understand what your talent is, you can take that talent and sharpen it and make that talent a gift. You can take that talent and you can sharpen that talent and you can make that talent a gift. Some people are born gifted. And a person that has a gift, they don't have to work as hard. But a person that's talented, we all have talents. We have to harness those talents so that they can become gifted. And so when you've done the work, when you begin to travel, you begin to see the world from different perspectives. So listen, guys, this is Starbucks, right? And this is a Dominican Starbucks. Yeah, Dominican Starbucks, right? Yeah. See, yes, very nice.
Yes, I like that. It's so good coffee. I like
Where are you from?
I'm from Canada.
I'm from Canada, so Americano.
Oh, nice to meet you.
See, Marlon.
Marlon, I'm Colin. Nice to meet you.
See. I was telling someone that.
You like it, this coffee?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. I'm on YouTube, but
It's fresh, right?
yeah. But yeah, but it's totally different here.
Okay.
Totally different. You like it? I see, I see.
Yes, my holidays are finished.
Oh, okay, see.
I have
Estudiante.
Yeah.
Estudiante, see. All right, amigo, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, man, thank you. But once again, guys, that's my that's my pseudo modifier, guys. You have to go by, my pseudo name. But actually, that name is very powerful. But anyway, when you begin to travel, you become grounded and you can regulate your emotions. I talk to men all the time. Actually, 3 of my homies are traveling now, Colombia, Thailand. And when you travel, you become emotionally regulated. You get ultra femininity. You get clean, non-GMO food. You get a healthy attitude. Not saying foreign women are not perfect, and neither are the men perfect. But you get a closer sense of what normalcy looked like. But all too often in the West, we don't know what normalcy looked like. Because we've been told over and over again as men that we don't deserve the best. We've been told over and over as men that we don't deserve the best. And so as a man, you need to become emotionally regulated. You need to become emotionally grounded. You need to have your emotions grounded, and your emotions become grounded when you begin to travel. I kicked out guys a lot of money to take this trip, a lot of money. But guess what? I'm investing in myself, and I'm investing in my business. And once again, like I said, eventually I'm doing this content now, but I'm gonna start doing different things with my content. I don't want to do content for the sake of doing content. My channel is not growing. I put a lot of work in this, and I'm not trying to do content just for the sake of doing content. I'm trying to, if I'm gonna do YouTube, I'm gonna do big. I'm gonna be big in YouTube. I'm not gonna be happy with no damn 200, 300 views, man. If I'm gonna do it big, I'm gonna do it big. And so while my focus will still be masculine issues, I'm gonna mix it up. Because like I said, it's risky. I'm advocating for brothers, guys. It's extremely risky. And me being a professional, I gotta make sure that I don't lose my livelihood, because YouTube can't pay me what I'm making. And so if you guys like what I'm trying to do and what I'm doing, support the channel. And I also support the content, because when you support me, it helps me grow as a man. It helps me grow as a content creator. So once again, guys, 7 steps to to optimization. World travel is one of them. You begin to see the world from a different perspective. Your emotions become more regulated. You become more centered. I'm convinced, guys, just like people that go to a chiropractor, they have to get their back cracked so they can become centered. And a lot of men are not centered. And when you're not centered as a man, you make bad choices when you're not centered. It's always been my desire that every man find what his value system is. One of the biggest things I see in therapy is that a lot of men don't know what their values are. They don't know what their values are. And they don't know what their values are. And when they get married, they go into a relationship thinking this is what my values were, but it's really not what their values are. And so in a relationship, you need to clarify what your values are, what you will tolerate, and what you will not tolerate as a man. But too many times men go into relationships compromising their power for the sake of pleasing that said woman in their life. And many times it falls on deaf ears when they don't get the things that they want. And so many men are in sexist marriages, they're in sexist relationships, because they think that what's in the West is the best thing, and it's not. It's not the best thing. When you travel abroad, you see masculinity from a different perspective. You see traditional gender roles from a different perspective, and you're honored and venerated better as a man. But in the West, your masculinity is constantly being challenged. You are constantly being challenged. Your authority is constantly being undermined. And they'll tell you that anytime you say anything that's not consistent with their emotions and their feelings, it's toxic. So It goes both ways, guys. They definitely shame men, but they shame a lot of the few percent or the small percentage of traditional women as well. And we know that traditional women in the West is far and few in between. There's not a lot of them. There's a few sisters, a few women, white and black, but overall, there's not a lot of women in the West that are traditional. And so, as I always said before in the past, being a man on this planet is better than me. When you begin to travel, you become more grounded, you become more centered, because you start seeing what your potential could be. When you travel, you begin to clear your mind. When you travel, your self-esteem is bolstered, because if you're a single man, you're around masculine men, or if you're a married man, you're around masculine men. As a single man, you're around feminine women, and you can consider those options. One of the biggest indictments in the West is because of social media. Social media has taught average to subpar women that they have to compete for the affection, attention, adulation, love, and marriage of a man. They just thought by default that they deserve to have a masculine man. And some of you men cast your power and give your strength away because you settle. And so I'm convinced that no man should settle for anything. They're not going to settle, and you shouldn't settle as well. The scripture is clear about casting your strength to a woman. They don't settle. So why are you settling as a man? You should never settle if you know that you've done the work as a man. You should never settle if you've done the work. And so that's why I do these shows. My job is to empower black men and American men in general that have done the work, but also understanding that traveling will regulate your emotions. And let me tell you guys something. It's taken me years to get to this critical junction in my life. A lot of sacrifice, a lot of setbacks, a lot of disappointment, a lot of cats that hated on me because they saw that shine, they saw that light that I had, that kosher light, that Leo swag, and they internalized it because they couldn't match that swag. And so, you got to be careful of simps, because simps are dangerous. Simps are dangerous, but also simps, not only are simps dangerous, they'll try to minimize you, and they will try to stop you from shining, because what they see in you, they don't see in themselves. What they see in you, they wish they had it, but they don't have the intestinal fortitude to put in the work to carry the journey out. So you got to be extremely careful when you're associating with simps. Simps are part of the reasons why women in the West have such a big ego, because simps tell subpar to average women that they're better, they're great, they're awesome, and it blows their head up. And so simps are part of the reason why we have such a crisis in the West, because simps don't hold standards, and simps don't hold women accountable. I told you guys about the two types of simps. It should be in the DSM-5, the conscious simp and the unconscious simp. Conscious and the unconscious simp should be in the DSM-5. Shout out to some of the brothers. I can't see. Shout out to XL Pro. Shout out to Top Gun. Shout out to Top Gun. And shout out to all the brothers that are watching. And so once again, I had several brothers that traveled. Some are back in the States. One is still out, like myself. And they became grounded. And grounding is essential for your mental wellness. Grounding is essential for your mental wellness. And that's why it's so important, guys, that you know what your values are. And if you don't know what your values are, before you get married, you need to start sit down and go to a competent therapist like myself, and let's have a conversation so you can identify what your values are. And once you have clearly identified what your values are and what your boundaries are, I would say your values is the most important thing, and your boundaries will determine what your values are. Then you can start having a comprehensive conversation about what you will and what you won't tolerate. And then when you get into a relationship, a lot of times what happens is that some women, not all, they'll put the full court press on you to get you to that relationship. But once they say I do, they get comfortable, and that's when the real work starts. Well, if you know what your values are and what your boundaries are, and you tell that woman that, listen, this won't be tolerated, if we're going to be in a relationship, she can either comply or you can systematically get rid of her. But I believe firmly that men that work hard and men that put in work like myself, you should always have leverage in the relationship because she's going to try to use leverage as well. That's why it's called happy wife, happy life. Her leverage is her box. Her leverage is her cat. That's what her leverage is. And she leverages that cat against your desire to enter her. But when you know what your worth is and when you're well traveled, you're not mesmerized by that nonsense. That's why I said once again, there are 7 steps to male optimization. And one of those 7 steps is world travel. World travel helps demystify you from the illusion that what you see in the West is the only thing that you can get. That's why folks get mad at passport bros. Because see, the truth is this, whether you're a passport bro, blue book gentleman, or just a traveling brother, a passport gentleman, whatever you want to call it, you got power when you can travel. But see, women that have narcissistic traits, they want you to think that you don't have an existence outside of them. Women in the West think that your happiness must be through them. If your happiness is not through them, then they don't feel validated. If your happiness is not through them, then they don't feel validated. So when you begin to travel lets you know that if you are a 5 in America, you might be a 7 or 10 in another country. That's what traveling will tell you. If you're a 7 in America, you might be a 9 for you single men. And once again, that's why we're having these conversations as men. My job is to teach men that you don't have to be encumbered by mediocrity in America. You don't have to be encumbered by mediocrity. You can set your own pace. You can set your own demands because they have demands too. And don't be besmirched by those that try to shame you and say, oh, you got to go travel this far to be. No, I think sometimes it's not even about trying to be with no one. This is about traveling to decompress and to know what your value is and what your worth is as a man, especially if you've done the work. Now, when I have these conversations, I'm not talking about guys that are bums. And what I mean by bums, they're on the couch all day, they're smoking weed, they don't manage money, they're not looking into finances because one of the 7 steps is also understanding finances. And shout out to Top Gun. Once I get settled in my next destination, I'm gonna call around and talk to a financial advisor. I'm gonna invest in crypto. I'm gonna start diversifying my assets. And I want you guys to do it too, because finances is one of the 7 steps of male optimization, because finances give you leverage as well. Money, the scripture said, guys, that money is the answer to all things. But the love of money is the beginning of all types of evil. And I told you guys, I came up with an acronym called REST. Women in the West want you to be their rat. The woman in the West, she wants you to be a rat. And that stands for resources, attention, time, security, and settlement. And the only thing she's going to give you is cat that she gave to other men for free. So she wants you to be her rat. She wants you to be a beggar. She wants you to be lower than her. What she wants to do, she wants to devalue you. People that have narcissistic traits in the clinical, they will devalue you. So she wants to devalue you, guys. That's why she wants you to be a rat. She wants you to be on your knees begging for her affection. She wants you to be on your knees, trying to get your validation through her. And when you try to get your validation through her, then that's a sign that she's controlling you. She controls you when you get your validation through her. And so you see here, guys, once again, the food is clean and lean. You see here, guys, you ain't got to be damn 6'10", like, even though I'm 6'5", 6'6", with shoes on. You see this average guy, which is about 5'5". He's with a beautiful woman, beautiful family. You see this guy right here, guys. Look how short he is. And so you ain't got to be no damn 6'6" or 6'8" and all that. Even though women like height, I can't help it. I'm 6'6". I mean, that's just genetics. But you don't have to be that tall in other parts of the world. You can be 5'4" and a woman like you, and she don't, trip because you're not a giant. And so once again, traveling helps you remove the illusion, and traveling also helps you stay grounded so you won't become delusional as a man. Delusion is totally different than an illusion. A delusion, guys, an illusion is when you think you see something. In the West, you think you see beauty, you think you see femininity. You think you see the pinnacle of what a woman could be. That's what you see and you think you see in the West. That's an illusion. But a delusion is when we show you the evidence that it's better and you still keep saying that women in the West are better. That's a delusion. And a lot of men have become delusional because the greatest threat, guys, of people with narcissistic traits is that they don't want you to know what your potential is. The narcissist does not want you to know what your potential is, because once you know what your potential is, they can no longer control you, and they can no longer control the narrative. When you know your potential, you can control the narrative. When you know your potential, they can run game on you. When you know your potential, you can hold your head up high and keep shining. And that's why I do what I do with the shows. Even taking this training, which is extremely expensive. This training, guys, cost me $900 to get some training in the Gottman method. The Gottman method is for couples, and there's only 500 Gottman certified therapists. But I'm getting some of the training as we speak to help you men leverage for yourselves, and to help some of you brothers stand in power. So once again, guys, if you're serious about changing your life radically and radically changing your life, you need to get out and travel and become grounded as a man, because if you've done the work, you deserve to aspire for the best. And I know a lot of folks don't like these conversations that I'm having because many in the West, guys, want taxation without representation. Many in the West want taxation without representation. And taxation without representation simply means is that they want to tax you with traditional values while they remain modern. I'm going to tax them with traditional values while I remain modern and while I set the dictates under other relationships, under the presumption that I'm oppressed, under the presumption that the patriarchy is evil, under the presumption that men hurt women, under the presumption that tradition is archaic and outdated and it shouldn't be utilized anymore, under the auspices that women should equally lead in the relationship, and they don't need a male's covering, and they have the right to lead just like you can damn lead. And that's a problem, because you should never have a woman leading you in a relationship, because most are not going to lead based on logic. They're going to lead based on their emotions. Are there some women that have a higher logic element than some? Yes, there are some women that are sharp and they have a higher logical acumen than most. But that's the exception. That's not the rule. We're talking about the average, and the average don't operate. They don't operate in logic. They operate in feelings, and those feelings many times will keep you in a state of disillusionment. Because once again, you don't know what your worth is. And guys, y'all see these shades, man. I'm loving these shades, man. Got that swag game going, man. That coach swag. You got representing the power here out here. And Coach Connor. One day I'm at the training tomorrow, and I'm about to get a real vacation, because even though I'm enjoying the, guys, I'm enjoying the conference. I really haven't had time to relax and enjoy myself. Because my mind has been scattered. And I feel so good today, guys. I left my jacket at the airport because, we say Norte America, Norte Americo, or Americo de Norte. We say that when we're traveling. We say America de Norte, or Norte Carolina. That's what we say, Norte Carolina. And we say Frio. Frio meaning it's cold out in the west. In the east. In the west it's cold. But guys, we're in December, and it's damn near 83 to 90 degrees here in Dominican Republic. I love the culture here. I love the energy. I love the men. The men are real cool. The men respect me here. By me being a big dude, they just say, you forte. Forte means strong. And some of them think that I'm, Haitian or Dominican. Some of them think I'm Haitian or Jamaican. I'm sorry. And some of the women, some of them, they're very kind to you. They're very kind. Shout out to my man. don't know who this is. My eyes are horrible. Hold on for a minute. Shout out to my man Suave D. That's my man Suave. What's up, brother? Thank you, sir, for being so kind, brother Suave D. Thank you. And Suave D, man, I hope you're traveling too, young man. I don't know how old you are, Suave D. Or maybe you're older than me. I don't know. But maybe you're traveling. If you ain't traveling, I want you to start traveling. Because I believe that a certain type of man deserves the best. And those certain type of men are men that have done the work. And doing the work is twofold, guys. Doing the work is twofold. Doing the work is investing in a competent, traditional-minded therapist. Not a woke therapist, because most woke therapists don't believe in masculine leadership. That's a modern therapist. Most woke therapists don't believe that men should be the lead. You need to find, like I said, guys, I don't think y'all realize what y'all have in me. And so only I can say is enjoy it for a while you can. Because as my business grows, I got to be careful how I move. And as I said earlier, a few minutes ago, if I'm going to do YouTube, I don't want to be mediocre. Anything I touch, I don't want to be mediocre, and I want to be great. I want to be the best. I didn't get into YouTube to be average, to be for a few views. No, I'm not doing it for that. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it big, and I'm going to do it great. And so I'm always honored that when men travel. I'm always honored when we have conversations, some of the cats I talk to, and when brothers know what their worth is. And you have to do the work, and once again, doing the work is going to therapy. Doing the work is working out, making sure you eat less, you're drinking plenty of clean water. Stay away from bottled water. Bottled water is not good for you guys. Stay away from bottled water. Bottled water is not good for you because it has microplastic in it. And also that bottled water, guys, could have estrogen in your body. Walking like while I've been here, guys, I walked about 7 miles each day. I've gotten over 12,000 steps, maybe about 14,000 steps every day since I've been walking. And walking, guys, helps lower the cortisol body, but also it helps reduce that visceral belly fat. Even though I'm overweight, every time I come to these tropical cultures, man, I feel young. And a lot of people think I'm younger than what I really am. You know, I'm 53, which I'm proud to say. I'm 53, but I don't act my age. I got a lot of energy. And I'm very passionate about life. And so investing in yourself is getting a competent, traditional-minded male therapist. If you find a traditional woman that's a traditional, and she understands traditional gender roles, which it's not a lot of them either, do that as well. Your physical health, your financial health, making sure your self-esteem is high, knowing what your worth is. And when you do all of those records and steps, guys, you're ready to travel. But some of you guys are not ready to travel yet. You're not ready to travel because you still have a deficit mindset. And when you come into other places, you compromise your power because you suffer from a condition called affection deprivation. You suffer from affection deprivation. And affection deprivation is a term I utilize or created. It basically means that I've been so devoid of getting the proper feminine attention that I desire, is that I overcompensate. I travel abroad. I become a conscious or unconscious simp. I take rejection personal. Lose my mind because I'm not used to nobody showing me love, nobody showing me attention, you know. And so that's a recipe for disaster. Amiga, I'm good. I was just talking to my amiga. So I'm fine. No problem. No food. Okay. I was just sitting down. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And so yeah, guys. So those are all the records and steps. Traveling helps you stay grounded. I'm gonna say it again. Traveling will help you stay grounded. I want you to say it to yourself. Traveling helps me stay grounded. That's a thought modification technique I want you guys to start using. I want you to pin it on your wall. And before you travel, what you start saying to yourself is that traveling helps me stay grounded. And one of the things I've utilized, guys, with my clients, I say that if I can change how I think, which is a construct of cognitive behavioral therapy, if I can change how I think, then I can change how I feel. If I can change how I feel, then I can change my behavior. I think, I feel, I behave. Many men think that they're inferior. Therefore, they have a lot of rage. They have a lot of bitterness. They have a lot of anger. They have a lot of sadness. They have a lot of depression. And the behavior is overcompensating by giving women things they don't deserve because they haven't earned it. A woman has to earn her way into your life. No more than as a man, you got to earn your way into her life. Relationships are about being reciprocal. But you just don't give to a woman for the sake of giving to a woman by making her think she's better than you. One of the reasons why guys, as I said in my show in the past, never bow. I don't believe that you should bow in a relationship. I don't believe in bowing in relationships. I don't believe that when a man gets married, he should get on the bended. I know that sounds controversial, but if you think about it from a psychological perspective, it's not controversial. The first thing with chivalry was something a woman had to earn. Women had to earn chivalry. It wasn't given to them. And chivalry of olden times is a European construct. Chivalry is not an Afrocentric paradigm. It's not an Afrocentric construct. Chivalry is a European construct. Most African men, to my knowledge, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, especially in Uganda and some West African traditions, and maybe even also in South Africa, the men don't bow to their women or get on a knee. The women actually bow to the men out of respect. Now, kneeling is a concept it's slowly leaving Africa and the West. But men in other countries, guys, they don't bow to women in no relationship. I'm gonna get on one knee and profess my love. What are you professing your love to? What are you professing your love to? Is she a virgin? No. Does she got children or children by multiple men or a man? No. Is she wife ready? No. Now, can there be a woman that made a mistake and she's a good woman and you like her? Well, listen, if that's what you want to do, that's your business, that's your value. But there are some good women maybe that maybe had one child, because in this culture you see that sometimes. She wasn't a bad woman, but she got with the wrong man and he left her. But one will argue, if she was practicing discipline, she wouldn't allow herself to get in that predicament. Now the question is, did she get pregnant after one time, or did she get pregnant multiple times because she was fornicating? If she got pregnant because she was fornicating multiple times, I don't feel sorry for her. If she got pregnant because she had sex one time and then she got pregnant, then that's different. She was being reckless. So my logic is a man's value system is his value system. You do what's best for you, but I don't recommend. I think single men with no kids should be exhaustive. And what I mean by exhaustive, they should try to find women that have no kids, find women that meet their program and their standards, and find women that match their worth. But I think you should start from the highest point first. And if you can't find that, which I think good men can, then if you find a woman that got maybe one child, you should settle. But that's my perspective. You got to be the captain of your own ship. I can't tell a man what to do, but I don't recommend it on my channel. I don't recommend it. But you can find some good women, a decent woman that might have one child, and she's a good woman. She slipped up one time, but I just struggle with that because how many times was she getting it in before she had that baby? But every man gotta do what's best for him. But my mission is to get men the best. My mission is that you should get the best. You should aspire for the best, especially if you've been disciplined your whole life. You make good choices, and you've done good things. I think you should get the best. But that's just how I operate in things. Every man is not the same. So I'm not going to besmirch no more than begrudge a man. But what I desire for brothers on this channel is that you become exhaustive. Because every state, every provision is different. And so let's say if that relationship don't work. That baby's father might be in their life. He might be jealous. Or if that relationship don't work, the bond that you forge with that child, that woman can take that and throw it in your face. You got to think long term, not short term. So if you have a family on your own, it doesn't mean that family can't dissolve as well. But if you get the best single woman with no children, hopefully she's got a low body count to a virgin, and she's wife ready, and she understands her position. I think that's a better proposition than finding a single woman, a single mother with a child, even though she's a good woman. But that's my opinion. And so every man got to do what's best for him. But my recommendation is that you aspire for the best and that you titrate down. But like I said, that's up to you, man. Y'all have to forgive me, man. My damn eyes, my eyes are horrible. My eyes are about like damn Cookie Monster, man. Suave D said, been to DR once. Going, yes, sir. Go ahead, go back, Suave D. Shout out to the condemned man. Salute. He said, I only been out to the country twice. Once for work and once again for a wedding, both in Mexico. Yes, sir. Good job, the condemned man. And then Revelator, the spirit of Aaron's. I know exactly what you mean. No doubt, brother. Yeah. I want to see you men win. I want to see you young men get the best. But as I said, guys, earlier, I'm about to in a minute get ready to get my taxi. And I'm getting ready to go shower. But I feel so good, guys. Like I said, I left my jacket here in DR. As you guys can see, I found my jacket. I didn't want to leave this baby blue, this navy blue here in the DR. And I was a little down, but you know, I got my jacket and I'm happy. And one more day at the conference. I hit the beach one time, but I really haven't had time just to reflect. And so I sort of feel bad because I got to fly out. We got to leave tomorrow, catch a bus, and I'm going to another spot. But I'm enjoying this, guys, and I want you guys to start doing the same thing, and knowing what your worth is as a man. So everything, guys, is within reason. Everything, guys, is in reason. And so, you know, and let me tell you what I've learned, guys, even from conversation with some other clinicians. Being a world traveler as a man, whether you are their selection or not, if you're their selection, it's a problem because now you're giving attention to another woman. Watch this. But if you are not their selection, you still giving your attention, that attention to another woman, because women that have narcissistic traits, even if they don't want you, all the attention belongs to them. Do you see where I'm going at? She wants the attention, but yet she want to keep you in her orbital cycle. Or she do want you and see you select, but now that you're beginning to travel and explore your options, that's a problem as well. And so they don't like that. And so I've always said, guys, they have no power but the power that you give them. They have no power than the power that you give them. Some of you men might think that you're an average looking man, but you come to other countries, that one might say, those women might call you a 6 or 7, a 7 or 8. They might call you guapo. They might say you're guapo, you're muy guapo. That means handsome. That's what guapo means, handsome. They might say, oh, he's guapo. He's guapo. And let me tell you something else I learned, guys, from having conversations. Overall, American men have been conditioned to be more egalitarian in relationships. And while that's good in a way, it's bad because I think you should keep a woman in her own ecosystem. And while you can modify it, I think you can modify it to the point that you're not necessarily being like the men in their culture, but you're standing in the masculine frame, if that makes sense. You can modify it by still standing on your principles as a man, but not modifying it to the point that you become Western in a non-Western country, if that makes sense. And so you can modify it, but American men are very agreeable. American men are more loving. I had conversations where, you know, just getting and research and talking, having anecdotal conversations. They say American men are more affectionate in the bedroom and more passionate because, you know, in America you gotta, you know, damn near perform like a porn star for a woman to feel good. But a lot of these Latin men, they don't put in work like that. They don't put in work like that. They do what they gotta do, but they're not as passionate a lot of times as American men because they have such an abundance over here. And so, before you begin to travel, I want you guys to seriously invest in your mental health. But as I told you guys once again, as my business grow, as my prospects grow, even though I'm not doing anything wrong per se, it can be risky advocating for men at the level that I do because it can be bad for business. And YouTube just don't pay me enough. I'm grateful for the help that some of you brothers do, but it don't pay me enough, guys, for me to risk the money that I can and I will make moving forward. It just don't pay me enough. And so I got to get creative with my content, and I got to get creative with what I'm doing. But once again, guys, world travel will help you stay grounded. World travel will help you stay grounded. And what it would do, guys, it will help remove the assumption in the West that everything is okay. It'll help you remove the assumption that you don't have any worth and dignity as a man. And also what it'll do is that it'll teach you and give you an anecdotal examination of how men and other cultures respond to their women. That's what it'll do, guys. It'll give you an anecdotal conversation of how, how guys in general respond, to the women they talk to and how they deal with. And so that's why that's important. And the more you do that, the better. Let me see what this person said. I'm about to get out of here in a minute. All right, guys. So once again, thank you to my man Swab there. I'm about to end this stream, guys. Just wanted to show you guys some love and let you guys see some of the spots I'm going to. And I'll be talking to you guys soon. I need you guys to understand and remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps to male optimization, guys, and when you begin to travel, traveling will help remove the illusion of power in the West, and also travel will help you see how deluded you have become because you didn't think you had any value and any worth. And in the words of the kosher man, be well, guys. And thank you once again, Swab D, for showing some love. I'll be seeing you guys again soon. Stay tuned because I'm on a kosher tour while I'm putting into this work. So like I said, guys, I'll see y'all soon. And y'all be well. Take care.